a bird you will find in the wild here unless someone's lost it, because it's, oh, hang on, run out of juice. Its native landscape is places like Arizona, Mexico, sort of North, South America, and they even go into North, Central and South America. They go to South America all the way down to sort of like the lower, upper parts of Chile and Argentina. They're a hot weather bird. Their major concern with flying hawks in this environment is dogs, and that's because she don't like them. And it's an inbuilt fear of these creatures because they're, well, the type of animal predates on these birds is actually a coyote. It was so good of them to put that truck there. It's perfect. If you just go up a bit higher, that'd be great. So yeah, they will predate on them, and obviously the closest thing that we have to a coyote is your domestic dogs. They have an inbuilt fear, an instinctive fear of them, which is something that we have to work on. Now, she's not trained to do any hunting, so I've never really got her used to dogs. She's alright with mine, but an unfamiliar dog she doesn't trust, and that's okay, because she needs to be a little bit fearful of a few things, otherwise she might get herself into trouble. Lola? Hey! Now Lola is only 2 years old. She was given to me by a friend of mine who bred her because she was too noisy, because she's creche reared. That means she's been hand reared by humans, but with her siblings, her brothers and sisters. So she knows she's a Harris hawk, but she's just incredibly tame. I don't really need to fly her wearing a glove. She won't hurt me at all. However, she's just like the missus, in the ear, give me a shout. She's just shouting at the dog. She's, as I say, she won't hurt me at all, but for the purposes of demonstrating this Harris hawk won't hurt me without a glove, but doesn't mean another one wouldn't. And so for public demonstrations, I would always wear a glove just to show that you should really wear the appropriate, what we call PPE, I should say. Go on, off you go. Not too far. As like to spread her wings, she's a bit of a soarer, is this young lady. I never worry too much about her because she is a very, very sort of clingy bird, really. She may just wander off, but she'll always come back. Because this bird has a very strange way of living in the wild. It's a bird that lives in a pack. So what you're seeing is a wolf with wings. They've been nicknamed it. That's because they're the only bird of prey in the world that basically groups together in numbers. You get mum, dad, all the siblings, all the youngsters from about 3 years worth of breeding, staying with the group. And they hunt in the same manner by using young animals, young birds to drive out prey like rabbits, hares, things like sage grouse, ducks and coots from any kind of cover, just like you'd work a dog. And the older birds, more experienced and better at hunting, sit high up on cactuses waiting for their opportunity. Come on! And then they'll come gliding after their prey and hopefully catch it. But if one misses, then there's always another one behind catching the one that got away from the first one. So their hunting average is very good. They're able to catch around about 50% of what they chase, which is much, much higher than any other bird of prey in the UK. Good girl. She does love that. If you think about it, it's probably the highest thing around, so she's got a good vantage point up there. I hope she don't poo on it. It looks very nice and clean, doesn't it? Now, obviously, hunting groups increases that average of percentage. Most birds of prey hunted singly will only have a catch rate of 10%, 1 out of 10. So this one's the most successful of all the birds of prey at hunting. And it's just simply because you're hunting with a group. And what do they always teach you at school? It's always better to work as a team. Okay? Now, what we're going to do with Lola is give her a few more flights. Thankfully, the weather is holding off for us to actually do a bit of flying. I do like to get her working hard. In actual fact, her day job is scaring off things like pigeons, gulls and rooks from unwanted areas, so towns and cities where you've got monuments and buildings being littered in what they call guano, which is pigeon poo, or any kind of poo. And then they will this bird will keep the area clear. And that's what I do as a day job. You can see it's written all over the van, and it's something which Lola does 5 days a week. So today she's just nearly having a cruise around. She's hardly working at all. She's used to sitting on anything she can find, including a flagpole. So don't be surprised if she lands on the thinnest thing that even a sparrow wouldn't do. Now what I usually do when I'm flying a hawk in an arena is get a small child to come in and I hunt it, okay, with the hawk. Because I'm not allowed to release a rabbit or any kind of creature into the arena here and basically hunt that. It would be a sort of released quarry. It would be unfair and highly illegal. However, I can do it with small children because there's no law against that. And we do generally have quite a few. So what I'm going to do, and I will tell you now, this is Lola's first ever show. So she's doing pretty well. But I'm going to try and push the button. I'm going to hopefully get a small child out of the audience who wants to have a bit of exercise and run. And hopefully catch the small child with Lola. Okay, sound good? All the parents are like, yeah, that sounds great. You're welcome to them. Let's get Lola back into the arena and back onto the hand. Now, I have not done this with Lola ever, so it's something which is going to be a bit of a trial. You could say that the youngster's going to be a guinea pig. Perhaps that's the wrong choice of words. Anyway, anyone want to come into the arena to help me? Who's going to be... Oh, his hand went straight up. He's the right size. If you want to come over, give him a big round of applause, everyone, for volunteering. Is that really a big round of applause? That was really rubbish. That's it. Big whoops. Let's see if we've got any Americans in today. Yeah, good. Okay, what's your name, mate? Julian. Right, Julian, you're a very brave lad. You will learn from this experience to never volunteer for anything. Okay? My name's Gary. This is Lola. How old are you, mate? You're 11. Well, at least you got to double figures. Yeah? That's good. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to fly Lola right across this arena. On count to 3, you're going to run like hell, okay? She's going to fly after you, and hopefully she'll catch you, because the instinct to chase something moving is greater than that to fly, hopefully, to that crane over there. All right? Now, when she grabs you, just lay still. Don't wiggle too much. The talons get deeper, and it's harder to pull them out. Okay, we've got St John's ambulance, I'm sure, around somewhere, so just in case it goes horribly wrong, you end up with a few bits of pieces missing, perhaps. We can perhaps stitch them back on. Okay? Sounds good? Fantastic. It's great, isn't it? Kids have no fear. Right, we're not actually going to do that. Have you ever done this type of thing before? You have? Oh, we've got a ringer in the house here today. We've got an expert. Okay, now it's quite a big arena. I don't know what she's going to do. You may make it across the arena. As I say, I'm unknown what is about to happen because Lola has not done this before. So, what I'm going to do is on the end of this stick, you need to be, okay? We'll do about here. You're going to aim to run that way, all right? And you're going to run as fast as you can. I'm going to count to 3. You're going to run like the wind, right? Now, if you hear the word stop before you make it to the other end of the arena, I need you to stop running because there's a Harris Hawk on the end of this, okay? If, however, you make it to the other side of the arena, I'm expecting a massive round of applause from the audience for Julian because he would have beaten nature, and this bird, remember, has a 50% catch rate, so he's really done well. Okay, Julian. Right, I need you just to pop that, the other side of your foot, just for a second. I'm going to give you a little bit of a head start, even though you have done this before. Yeah. Okay, right. Julian, are you ready? I want lots of cheering from you lot, okay? That's a start, a bit early, but that's all right, love, don't worry. It's good you're excited about it. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 2.5. He was nearly, didn't he? No, this time. 1, 2, 3, run, Julian, run! Hey, go on, here she goes. She's going to see if she can catch it. Stop! Give him a big round of applause, everyone. Just keep a hold of that stick, Julian. Forrest, don't approach the bird. She doesn't share her dinner. I don't think you feel like that kind of chicken tonight, anyway. Excellent. Well, you've done really well, mate. You've got a reasonable distance there. And as I say, she is a pretty fast, fit bird. So, and it's quite a big arena. All right. But you did really well. You were pretty lightning there. Did you do running professionally? No? No? Maybe Olympics in a few years' time, mate. You did like hell across there. Thought you weren't going to catch up. Right, everyone, put your hands together for Julian. Give him a massive round of applause. The Mediterranean, in North Africa. So as you can tell, today's weather conditions perfectly suit him. With it being so stinking hot and all that. Dear, it's not going to really be that kind of weather. But we'll see what we can get him to do. Now, Bolt I've only had for a short while, really. He's relatively new to the flying team as well. Got a few newbies this year. So we'll see how he goes. I'm just going to put a tag on him. We use telemetry on these birds because he can cover a mile if he wants to in around about sort of 40-50 seconds if he goes top speed. I'm just going to pop him up on here where he knows which is safe. They all work from the van when we're out in the field. Now this one would be used on a different situation. Flying the hawks, the Harris hawk for instance in the bird control world, we'll be using that in built up areas generally or on rooftops. This one here would be in big open spaces. So he likes the wide open yonder. Now it's a nice big arena, so we should do pretty well. I'm just going to pop some food on the lure for him. Now Bolt is about 3 years old. He belonged to a friend of mine. He didn't really fly him very much. He developed a bad habit of sitting and not doing a lot, but he does. He is starting to get out of that habit now, and I'm pleased to say that. So we'll see what we can get him to do. Now, the lanat, as I say, is a hot weather bird, not really ideal for today's conditions. It is a bird which is sort of a medium-sized falcon. You get ones much larger than him. What we're going to do is fly him in a very different way to the way you saw the hawk fly. We're going to fly it to a lure. Now, this involves swinging this leather pad, which has his food on, in a circular fashion to gain his attention, to lure the bird back to me. I'm simulating a bird's flight in the wild, because this is a bird-catching bird of prey. It's built for speed, agility and aerial pursuit, and that's exactly what Bolt, hopefully, is going to show us. Now he's having a little bit of a feel, because this is a hot weather bird. He does like it when there's a thermal or an updraft, because this bird's a high flyer. He can go up high into the sky, and the preferred flight of a falcon is a lazy style of flight. It's a flight which involves very little effort for maximum reward. So if you go up really high, you can pick up quite a lot of speed, you see. And so if you were to go really high in the sky and do what falcons are very famous for, which is stooping, which is where they use their body shape to cut through the air by tucking their wings in, and literally folding up and free falling out of the sky. This bird can do a top speed of about 130 miles an hour in that type of drop, if he's anywhere over sort of 500-600 feet. The peregrine is of course the fastest of them all, and it's a very famous falcon, and it can do a recorded speed, this is recorded, 242 miles an hour. That's a bit fast. And while these birds catch small sort of starling-sized birds called quillia, there's about 250,000 of them on the Great Lakes of Africa, and so there's plenty of food to go around. They will cooperatively hunt with their mate at certain times of year. The females are very good at going up high, and the males will pursue their prey level pegging like this, distract it, whilst the bird drops out of the sky and snatches it from behind. He is trying to get some height, isn't he? Bless him. He's trying really hard. Dad, I'm really trying, Dad. I can't get it up. Come on. See if we can attract his attention back over here. Good boy. Oh, excellent. Good lad. Excellent. Good boy. Always notice people ducking. I don't know why they bother, because he's already past you by the time you've ducked. Good lad. Just putting in a few extra bursts there. Now, he's not the fittest of birds at the moment. He hasn't been going for too long this year. I'm working on his fitness, and hopefully over the course of the next couple of weeks we'll really get some high-speed passes. But he's working very well, and the more he works, the bigger those muscles will get, and the better he will get. Excellent. Come on! Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just let him go and try and get a little bit more height. I'm going to holler him in, and hopefully, if he gets a little bit more height than that, he'll snatch this lure out of the sky. So I'm going to simulate the bird making a mistake, and how the falcon capitalises on that, and his eye-to-foot coordination, he uses his feet to strike it. So this time what we're going to do is give him the call. Hey! So he's on his way over. Here he comes, building some speed. He's going to strike it down. Good boy. Excellent. Give him a big round of applause, everyone. He's a bit of a work in progress, but he's getting there. I'm pleased with his performance today. Now, obviously, just like the hawk, when it's on something, you don't approach it, you give it time to eat its food. You don't want to intimidate the bird. You've got to remember that just like him, we've got eyes in the front of our head pretty much. We're slightly larger than him, or maybe I'm a bit bigger than him, we could say. I tower over him, I'm going to intimidate him and make him feel a little bit sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down to his kind of level, and as he consumes his food, I'm just going to simply crawl in here gently, keeping again, keep my distance, making sure he doesn't feel intimidating. You notice the way he sits on his lure, he's got his wings open, he's mantling, which means to cover his food. It's something which instinctively they do. It's because obviously in the wild they've got competition, and the bird would be very vulnerable on the floor. In the air they're very agile, very fast. On the floor they could easily get picked off. So what he is going to do is he's going to cover his food, so anything flying above like an eagle or a vulture or something a bit further away can't actually see what he's got. He may just be drying himself out after a bath, so they're not going to waste coming down to investigate. If he sat there and the other bigger predator would see what he got, it would come down and steal it from him. So all that effort would have been for nothing. Right, let's offer him another piece of food. You can see Bolt's quite happy to take that. Okay, excellent. Now he's back on the fist. I can pop this out of sight. And as you can see, he continues to mantle because he doesn't like to share his dinner with me either. Okay? Well, he's done really well, so I'm going to move on to the last bird in the show. Give him a big round of applause, everyone. His name is Seren, and he's a barn owl. Now, there's a lot of things in this arena that might upset him, particularly in the damp weather, so I'm going to actually fly him on a line just for today. See how he goes. I think it'll be no trouble, but it's just making sure that I'm not sitting under a tree in the rain tonight. I don't really want that. So what we're going to do is just pop a line on Seren, and hopefully we're going to be able to do a little bit of work with him. Now I'm going to bring him round so you get a bit of a close look. I'll do a lap of the arena, I think, with him, and we'll see how it goes. Now Seren's a barn owl, of course you all recognise that. The barn owl is a very, very well-known species of British bird. Now we have about 5 owls in this country. We have, of course, the barn owl. We have the tawny owl, which is that one that goes to it, which I'm sure you all know. The one that goes twit-to-oo, and it's the brown owl, the brownies and such. And it is our most common British owl. There's around about 45,000 pairs of British owls, or sorry, of tawny owls. Get that thing over here. Excellent. And the tawny owl, as I say, 45,000 breeding pairs, doing really, really well. Then you've got little owl, which is doing okay. The original native to the UK. It was introduced back a long time ago, down sort of Oxfordshire way, when a famous lord decided that they looked really neat on his estate, and he got an aviary. The aviary blew down, released the little owls into the estate, and several other people thought this is really cool to have these little owls. They're only the size of a Coke can, hence why they're called little owls. Yeah, they come on, good boy. They now are a British species. Then you've got two birds which are very sort of closely named, because you have the short-eared owl and the long-eared. The short-eared owl has short ears, or looks like it's got short ears. It's got little tufts on its head, which look a lot shorter than the long ears. They do look dramatically different, actually. One's very lighter than the other one. And I'm very lucky, I've seen a couple of them recently, actually. They're more of a hit. Look at that. Selfies and things like that happen when I do this. So yeah, they're two species which, if you're lucky, just quite firing, and not as easily seen as most. Let's me find some more food. Saren. Good boy. Excellent. Then of course you've got short-eared, long-eared, little owl, tawny owl, and then we've got the barn owl, of course, and everybody recognises that. We do sometimes get a bird called a snowy owl visit the Outer Hebrides, but it's very, very rare indeed. So the barn owl, what about the barn owl that makes it special? Well, firstly, it's the only one that has struggled more recently. It's been in a lot of trouble. We all know about the barn owl because of the conservation efforts made to help this bird. And we're starting to see a real change in their numbers. The barn owl's population is doing really, really well now. Their population went right down to under 3,000 breeding pairs. To put that into some kind of way that I can't say.